Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And also thank you for joining me this morning up to as many as 50 people at a time for my Deshaun Watson press conference with Watson's attorney. And we're going to have more from that. But right now, I'm presenting Brandon Dawkins and Misty Cross. And Brandon, as you've been on the show before, longtime Raider and still a Raider. Once a Raider, always a Raider.
Right.
New friend, welcome. Misty, this is your show, your program, and I want you to take first of all, your concerned Oakland Unified School District parent, as is Brandon, and take us through what happened. This is the scene actually a week ago today.
Yeah.
And takes a little bit of it, and then when you want me to stop it, say stop, okay?
Okay.
And then we'll go from there. Where we go. All right.
You can stop it right there.
Okay. Stop. And,
so right there, when I was right there at that point, I was talking to Shanti Gonzalez, which is the president of the school board, and I was expressing to her that her time was up. She mentioned that a lot of the times while the parents were speaking, we only got 1 minute to speak, and the board members were given 3 minutes to speak about how they wanted to give the superintendent a raise. I felt it was outrageous for them to pick that time to even mention that during this board meeting when we were there to express the safety of our kids. We wanted to have weekly testing done. There was a protest that was on the internet. One of the teachers who is a parent of 2 students that attend Fremont actually drove it to Shanti Gonzalez's house and left it on her porch because she wasn't home. So, and she actually spoke at the board meeting. So when I kept telling her her time was up, I wanted her to see how it felt, how on the other side of that podium, when the parents are speaking for just 1 minute to express the safety and the risk of this virus on the campuses, I needed her to feel how we felt on the other side. You can go ahead and play.
Yes, ma'am.
You can stop right there, Zini.
Yes, ma'am.
So I don't even know if you guys, I posted it on my page. The numbers even triggered me even more to look at the amount of the raise that she's going to get. We have parents and families in the district that are still displaced. They're afraid to come forward to even enroll in the McKinney-Vento program because they don't want to be put in a bucket. You know, people are tired of being categorized. A lot of folks come to me to advocate for them because I've been through it. They recognize me from the Moms for Housing movement with taking over and occupying the home on Magnolia Street with a bunch of other moms that were housing insecure at that time. So they come to me and they tend for me to advocate for them because I've learned a lot and only because I've been through it. And the board tends to not have a lack of transparency. They forget that this is like a co-parenting relationship. Our kids are in the district more than they're at home. Monday through Friday, they're there from 8:30 to 3:30. And if after school programs are entitled to, that's longer. So I just want them to understand that most of our kids that are in smaller settings, the elementary kids, there's no vaccinations for them. Those are the ones that like to touch things. It would have been better if they would have said, you know what, we hear you. We understand where you're coming from. Yes, especially when it came to our little babies, because those are the most vulnerable. And if this district is a full service community schools, then it should be that. We had clinics on campuses. They should open them up. Lifelong has been on some of the campus. They can partner with West Oakland Clinic. They have all these money in COVID relief funds, and they're not utilizing it. So it triggered me to see they wanted to give a raise to the superintendent, and we're raising our stress about the safety of our kids on campus. This definitely, and especially after coming back after the pandemic, you've had a year and a half, almost 2 years, to really have our kids safely return. You could have had a different process. If you would have had transparency intertwined in that, you would have talked to parents, you would have talked to people who are boots on the ground, who have been working with this COVID process. It's a flu, and we're treating it like it's something else. It is a higher strand of it, but we can't be where we're exposing people who haven't had health checks because they don't have medical, they don't have the time to do it, because now we're making parents choose whether you send your kids to school or not. They don't even have a second option. Sojourner Truth only holds 600 and they have a wait list. Why can't we offer distant learning? We should offer distant learning for the parents who are very afraid. I'm afraid to send my young one there because I know she's going to forget to wash her hands. I know she's going to take her mask off or want to hug and socialize that way. But I'm not ready for it. So I put her in online school. My other one is in school. So I'm just still scared for the other families who are not really researching what's really happening and not knowing what the district is, because we tend to feel that our kids are safe within the district. We send our kids to school and we expect for them to take care of them while they're there. From that 8:30 to 3:30, they're in their care. So we expect for that to be there. And especially with this virus, if they're expressing that, they can walk out because I expressed that this wasn't the time for that. And that if they choose to discuss this during this moment, that we will have a recall on the rest of those members. There's 3 of those are up in 2022, so they might as well leave now.
Let me know when you want me to go back to the video. I just want to make sure people saw you.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead with the video. Yeah, you can continue there.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm not moving the camera. That's the original video.
I keep telling y'all I don't play around my city. I don't play on these streets, and I'll tell you one thing. If you do not want to take this job, get up now and get up out of here. Because we had enough here, yo. We had enough.
You can stop it there.
So once we know that we're going to organize, we're going to make sure everybody's feeling this.
Okay, there.
So when I started, McClymonds had just had a shooting that day on campus.
Yeah.
It was, and they didn't even acknowledge that. Our district rep, Van Cedric, he wanted to fight Mike Hutchison about some words that he said. It was, and I yelled from the podium, we need you to be fighting for our schools like that, not this black man. The same way you're putting that energy into being frustrated because he said some words that you were doing and you guys didn't respond back to the email. You have a representation from your district here, and you can't face me and say, I hear you, Misty. I understand anything. Coach comes to all those meetings. It just gets real frustrating that people spend their time. Now, these board meetings go on for long. I stayed on to that meeting. I think it went to 12. It was past midnight. I was on that meeting. My daughter said, Mom, you're still on there? I'm laying in the bed on these meetings. And this is not the first time. I've been going to meetings. In 2016, I went in as a write-in candidate because I seen what they were doing to our public school system. And we were selling land as soon as we moved the babies out of the schools, because you can't sell them when the kids are on the campus because it's considered a school. So it's like a lot of things that the district has been doing, and then the parents aren't being kept up on what's new. They'll have a meeting and they'll show things, but we had a meeting May 4th on this year with one of the faculty at McClymonds High School, and we came up with 13 things on a list that needed to be fixed. And this is way before COVID, like the boiler by the girls' bathroom, the girls' locker room.
What I'll do is I'll highlight your screen. There you go. There you go. Okay, and what's that we're seeing?
So this is a list of things that needed to be discussed at McClymonds High School, like the front steps needed to be repaired, the lead issues that have been going on for 4.5 years, the boiler near the girls' locker room, the girls' bathroom. We thank the Warriors for helping with the gym floor, but we had way more internal problems that needed to be fixed before those kids re-entered into that building. Now, we were told that they were going to be ready for the reopening for the fall. And as we come to it, only 3 things have been repaired. We want the wheelchair lift has been working in the auditorium. There's a lot of things. We want the adult ed off the campus. We don't want our kids around adults. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, keep up there, and then I'll do it like this.
We don't want our kids around adults. We want the adult ed off the campus. Due to that, we have to have the SSOs doing what they're paid to do. We need to be securing the perimeter. That way we won't have shooters pulling up through the parking lot. If we had a security officer at that gate where he's supposed to be and making sure only cars that are employees and parents picking up students are entering into that lot, then we would have been our kids would have been more secure. Now,
lift just a little bit more. Just lift that up just a little bit. Yeah. Wow. That is a list.
Yes. And there's more on the back. Yeah. I'll switch it around with the rest of it.
If you can send that to me, I can post that as a blog.
Yes.
You know,
and we have a couple of more.
Yeah.
We want the on-site registration because the enrollment office is still telling people that McClymonds is full. Mm-hmm. We want them to stop shooing away the families that want to enroll their kids in the school. I'll email this to you because I do have it emailed.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So the new McClymonds committee has been coming together. A lot of parents have been coming together. As you can see, Brandon brought us together. We're organizing. We've had enough. We're tired. We're definitely tired. Yes. Thanks to Brandon for even bringing this. Because the more we get this kind of information out there, the more parents understand. And they should have a choice. It shouldn't be, I think it's more of about payment than anything. We get these kids back in school, but we have to really make sure that it's safe for them to come. I want them to be in the school because some of them do be hands-on. It's very hard for some of the kids. Everybody learns differently. Everyone is not going to get distant learning. Just like that's the reason why we have public and charter schools, because it's going to be a different level of education for what it fits. And that's what the district needs to look at. That they lack empathy and compassion. This district has lacked that for so long that we now have to educate board members when they should have done the research themselves. Had they jumped in, visited each site during the summertime to see what needed to be fixed, who needed backup generators, who needed air purifiers, who needed all these things. All this money you had, you should have been. I can come up with a bunch of ideas right now off the top of my head. And just because I'm concerned about the babies who can't really speak up for themselves, we have to be their voice. It takes a village. It no longer can just be, oh, one person says, I have this idea. It takes us all to raise these babies. The district can't do it alone. And they've been trying to do that alone for the longest. Again, couple of seats are up for 2022, and anybody who think they're just going to walk into these seats, you have another thing coming, because I've been at these meetings long and way too long to just let anybody just come and think that this is just a job. It's not. You have to care for these kids. You have to treat them like they're your own, because it's not just one way on this way.
Let me go back to, you mentioned Mike Hutchinson and Van Cedric kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back to that because I don't understand how that even started, and straighten me out on something, okay?
So Van Cedric, I guess, was mimicking or making some remarks behind Mike Hutchinson's back, laughing. If you go over, if you play the video and get to that part, I can go ahead and walk you through that.
I think it's when Mike started.
Yeah.
About optics, a leader right off the shoot at our first meeting with a raise and a new contract extension. When there's 2 years left on the contract, where is the discussion about the reopening? How do we keep our community safe? That's what everyone wants to know.
I just want to. I'm like, what makes me want to cry?
So Mike was mentioning, and he was letting the board know that he had let them know that this was going to come, that there were going to be unions, there were going to be people coming to this meeting that were going to be upset about the way that the agenda was set up. Mentioning the raise for superintendent, that was going to outrage people. And so when he readdressed that during that video part, he was reminding the folks that he told them this, that it was not appropriate, that it was not the right time to bring this up. It could have been tabled. Someone could have made a motion to say, let's move this over to the next meeting and we'll bring it back to the people. They don't even bring things to us anymore. They have these closed meetings and they really vote on things, and then they come back to us like they're going to vote on it, and it's already really been settled.
Yeah.
There's no transparency within those. Everything really goes down in a closed meeting.
And straighten me out. So while he's talking, I'll start it again. But I just want to be corrected on something. The superintendent was getting up to leave.
Oh yeah, they were walking out on our children, and the young lady with the braid.
That just makes this rage.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And then at that moment, I was just like, leave, please, just leave Oakland completely, because we've been torn so much, and we're tired of the leadership, the lack of leadership. We're tired of it. It can no longer exist here. And if we don't start standing up and letting them know that we're not going to take it, we voted you in that seat, we'll get you out of there. There's certain stipulations. We can recall you and we can have you out of here. That raise, I would have been more happy if she would have said, you know what, this isn't the best time. I don't want to do this. You still have 2 more years in your contract. I don't think this is appropriate to do this. I really care about these kids. Miss Superintendent, you were just at a school with Governor Gavin Newsom. And we were showing off like we were just ready for all this stuff, and we're not prepared. I couldn't believe it. And I tried to hold myself, but there are certain things that you just can't slide by me, and definitely not in Oakland. Definitely not.
Continue?
Yes.
So it's okay, the message that they're sending, because you notice I'm not one of them, made any commitment to do anything differently to keep us safe. And you see how they're avoiding even answering it. I have somebody laughing behind me now. These folks think it's a joke. They think it's a joke. Calm that down. I'm coming.
You can pause it right there.
Okay. Got it.
So while Mike was letting everybody know what was going on, Van Cedric was behind him laughing. Now that's our district rep from District 3. He just got in, really walked into that seat. And yeah, a lot of these new members need to be educated on how to even handle. But you know what? It's the fault of the board before. Like I said, it's the way that they've been carrying themselves. So when the newcomers come in, they don't even understand the structure of what should really happen in this place. They don't understand it. They just assume that they're just there to sit there. No, your job is to make sure these schools are safe and fit for our children. Your mission statement says it. It should be fit and built, a full service community district focused on high achievement. It should be a full service community service school. The students should be thriving, not just graduating. They should be able to go to college and be confident in their whatever they're going to feel they're going to succeed in and really do it. These kids are coming back home. These kids are saying that they weren't prepared. They didn't have the schoolwork that they're getting right now. They're taking rhetorical classes because they're not ready. They have to take pre-junior college and community college just before they can go to the 4-year scholarship that they've gotten. And they're not, it just doesn't make any sense. I want our kids to be safe. I definitely do. I want our parents to be educated on what's going on. They don't have the time. The board members think that parents have the time to come after work. If you have multiple kids, it's hard. It's hard to come to a school board meeting, and especially if you're a single parent, to come at 6 p.m., 5 o'clock, and stay all the way till midnight or 1 in the morning just to get 1 minute to express what is going on internally at your child's school. The district board members should already know what's happening internally. The janitors' pay need to be raised because they have to go in, and they should be. I'm not sure if that's happening, but they should be going in after every class and sanitizing it. It should be where if we're saying that we want a safe return, things should be happening to be safe. It should not be where we have SSOs just standing around. We need them to be trained. We need them to be able to do the restorative justice, all of those things that we want the police officer to stay off the campus of. We have to initiate that, and it has to be led. But if it's not going to start anywhere, then we can't do it.
What bothers me, and again, straighten me out, is that none of them showed any real leadership and just basically stopping the meeting and saying, hey, look, let's realign the agenda, and if we have a problem, let's fix it right here. You know, that's what.
Well, Mike kept doing that, and even when Shanti tried to move the agenda to the next item, and she was like, I'm going to let them speak, as she still moved the next item on the agenda up. She said, well, I'm going to let them speak, but moving it to the next agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, we're going to just keep continuing to disrespect us in front of it. And if they don't, this is my thing. You have to agree to disagree. You're not there to be friends. You're there to be a representative of your district and of our children.
Right.
It's not about friendship and about how someone is speaking. I know if I was up there, everyone would be upset with the way I'm speaking. Because I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The reason why is because my passion for my kids and every other kid in this district is real strong. They're all mine. They keep saying, where your kids go to. My kids go to every school, because if a parent calls me to advocate, I'm there. And I don't care what district it is. I've been in Mount Diablo. I've been in a couple of districts advocating for other parents' children because they don't understand what's going on. They hit them with acronyms and all these things about, oh, well, the LCAP advisory handles this, and you should go to that building and put in this, or you have to file a complaint over here. It shouldn't go that way. It should be, if I have a concern and a need, you should handle it.
Yes. It looked like to me also that that's what we're trying to shut down Mike than anything else.
Yeah. Because Mike has been an advocate before he even became district member. He was advocating for the kids. Everyone liked him then. Mike has definitely been following it. His mom was on the board. His family, his mom was a teacher. All his history, he knows all about it. He's just like Coach Tim Tapscott and Jim Mordecai. They have so much information and data inside of them. That's the reason why they kept coming to the meetings and staying late hours and making sure that they got their message on public record, so that they know that some things needed to be said on public record so that people know what's happening. I tend to watch the meetings afterwards because I was working 2 jobs. There was no way, but sometimes I spread myself thin to get to the meetings. If someone calls me, I have to come because it's something that's going on where the board doesn't hear it. And then they don't hear us until we get outraged. If I had not stopped that meeting, they wouldn't have heard what we were really saying. The next day, people were up on the facilities of McClymonds fixing things after that meeting. But then we had a shooting at Tech.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, where is the safety? Like, what are we doing? What are we not doing? Let's look at what we're doing and what we're not doing, and let's move forward there. Like I said, the district can't do it on their own, but they tend to keep forgetting that.
There was a video, I think we'll go forward. And what bothered me also is that the superintendent didn't step in, but then she stopped later. Take me through this so we can get the right idea. And then
the superintendent and Shanti Gonzalez were the first two to get ready to walk out. As you see in the crowd, they're up. Everyone else is sitting down. Shanti's already leaving.
I'm not talking about behind off. So I'm sitting up here with board directors who are refusing to answer my messages. When all looking at them for trusting. And you see it, the first year, they're trying to break out on it.
Yeah, it was really getting bad.
Yeah.
And then he started talking to one of the parents. One of the parents trying to break them up.
Just like you want to do that. The same that you got to say, you got to do please do sign back and get out of here.
See, I just want to. This process have a question. Does the superintendent just walk off? That's what she's making $300,000 a year, and I'm thinking they pay her that much money not to take charge. Am I wrong?
I was outraged, and that's why I said I would like to know what she's done.
I was pissed.
I'm trying to see. I'm trying to make it make sense. I'm ready to pull my hair out now. I'm trying to make it make sense about how much money she can get when we have parents who are being coaches, who are being mentors, mediators, giving out food for when they don't have it, and they're making under $1,000 a year, volunteering their time. You hear me?
Yes.
We got people on campuses who really, really are there for those children. That dedication should automatically give them the amount so that they can handle the capacity of kids that they're doing. But the district is giving them the bare minimum. They're showing every day that they come up there that they are there for the kids, because that takes a lot. We're living here right now and the rent is so high. It's ridiculous. People are barely surviving. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. If she's going to get a raise like this, there should be a building for parents and students who are from foster care that are transitioning out of high school that are not going to be able to go to college. There should be something, I don't know, but I can come up with a bunch of ideas that I could have thought of if they wanted to talk about money. But that wasn't the time. And all everybody could talk about was me shutting down the meeting. Well, somebody should have shut it down before then. If I'd have looked at the agenda and knew that that was coming up, but I'm following the agenda in sequence, so I'm going along with it. If I'd have known that was coming before it went up on that big screen, I'd have shut it down from the beginning and said, please do not mention this. Please focus on what's important right now, because our kids have only been in school 2 days. The dashboard isn't updated daily. It's updated weekly. We should be giving free testing on campus sites that have clinics on them, such as Castlemont, McClymonds. You've redid these schools, West Oakland Middle School. You've put these things on there, so we should utilize them. We have all of these things going on, and the district just seems to just keep saying, "Oh, we'll just do this. We'll modify this." No, just do the work. Let's just handle it. You have the money. There's no excuse. There's no reason why it shouldn't be happening.
Ms. Cross, in your opinion, and Brandis, does OSUD have a COVID-19 plan?
What was that?
Does the Oakland Unified School District have a COVID-19 plan?
No, absolutely not.
That's the reason why we're here now with this.
Yep.
I'm glad you said that, because John Sasaki wrote me an email that I made into a video, which I didn't get a chance to share with you. But he said, I'll just foreshorten it out of respect for time. But basically, he got after me for saying that they didn't have a plan and directed me to correct an inaccuracy.
Did he show you anything in writing?
And he was very. And I called John and I said, John, can you explain the email? And he says, yeah, I want you to correct these inaccuracies. I said, what inaccuracy? He goes, that you say we don't have a plan. We're following state guidelines. And I said, John, a guideline is not a plan.
Right.
You make plans from guidelines. It's not a plan.
Right.
I said,
Zenny, if OUSD really had a plan, they would, number one, provide weekly testing, not only for the teachers, but students.
Yes.
At every single campus.
Yes.
Two, if OUSD really had a plan, they would set up vaccination sites in each district to where families and teachers can have access to the vaccines. Three, if OUSD really had a plan, we wouldn't even be open schools right now in the height of the Delta variant, then the Lambda variant that's behind it, and God knows what other variant is going to come after that because people refuse to mask. Now, if they really had a plan, they would have either remained, with the hybrid learning model,
right?
Or B, they wouldn't even open up the schools and would have remained on the distance learning model for this year, as Coach Tapscott alluded to last year.
Right.
OUSD does not have a plan, and this is the reason why we're showing up to these meetings.
And John, I'm taking this segment and I'm sending it to you, buddy. Because
send it to him. Yes, absolutely.
I said, John, come on the show.
And John, we would like copies of the OUSD COVID-19 plan in writing. We don't want your verbal slang from your newscasting when you were on TV. We want the things in writing so that parents can understand it, and put it in a language so that parents who don't come to these meetings can understand also.
Also, we want specifics in the plan. We want to know what happens when there's an outbreak at a school. That's
definitely the number one thing.
What is your plan for isolation and quarantine? See, I work for San Francisco Department of Public Health. I've done COVID testing in the homeless encampments and the shelters. So we know the lingo. Mm-hmm. So they can't just slide by and just think that, we're just a bunch of uneducated folk coming up to these school board meetings and trying to cause disturbance. No, we want to be informed of what the plan that OUSD is trying to do for our families and for our babies, because like Misty alluded to earlier in this segment, we send our babies to school to get an education, and while they are there from the hours of 8:30 to 3:30, our children are in the care of OUSD. Yes. What are you guys going to do to keep our families safe? Now, me, I'm a father of 5. I have 4 children at OUSD. I have 2 at Emerson. I have 1 at Westlake. I have 1 at Oakland Tech. All of my babies right now are on distance learning because we knew that the Delta variant was going to do some damage with our children, and I refuse to send them to a campus right now. I refuse. Right. Because there are so many kids coming up catching these COVID cases. We had some at Montclair, whatever school it was. We had cases popping up. The dashboard is only updated on Monday, so we're not even getting accurate information from USD about how many cases there are between the students and the teachers. They're not forefront with their information. So this is why we're showing up to these meetings.
Right.
All right.
And they need to access. We need to know, how do you quarantine a classroom? Once you get a positive case and they are at a high school and they have multiple classes, how do you quarantine a class? When you have multiple classes that you're going different periods, how do you quarantine just this one class when they've already been spread out? The virus has already went crazy. Yeah.
You know, here at I think it was DeKalb County, they had a plan. The minute they had students that are out, because they test the students. This is on the news, and I made a video about it, and I sent it out, and I said, hey, Oakland, this is what they're doing here. They had a conga line of teachers and the principal with computers, and the parents were lined up in cars to get them, and they were running to get them. I mean, they had like clockwork.
Wow.
And that's how, yeah. I mean,
they gave them a choice. And we should have an option. It shouldn't just be send your kids to school. Yeah, I literally cried when I got to my 6-year-old's daughter's school. The principal was looking at me. I couldn't do it. I just grabbed her by the hand and walked off. I couldn't do it as I really wanted it to, because the kids want to go to school so bad, but it's not for the right reasons. And again, that goes back to the curriculum. If we had the right curriculum in place and we were teaching them about viruses and antibodies and how germs live on surfaces for a certain amount of time and how you really have to clean your hands and how important this is, because then they'll be more prepared. They'll be more prepared, and they'll know why parents are on the edge and really don't want them to go back to school just because the district wants to still get paid. They want those bodies in those seats. And if they wanted those bodies in those seats for the pay, they should have gotten our schools up to par. The schools were already falling apart before COVID, and now it just makes it worse.
Because the districts get paid for every pupil who shows up to school on a daily basis.
Yes.
They're more concerned about money than they are for the safety of our children.
Yes.
That's what it's all about. It's a big money grab. But
And
not at the expense of our children.
Not OUSD children.
And it's like, it seems like they are, and I'm using what John said to me, and John was also yelling at me. Oh, yeah, out loud. And I said, do you understand what you're doing? And we go back a long way. But see, I'll say that off camera because that's not even John. But my whole point is, I said, do you understand what you're doing? You're yelling. And I said, John, you have people out there, the parents don't think you have a plan. The parents needs come first, right? Silence. I mean, the presentation that somebody responsible for public relations would do that, not thinking that. I told him, I said, look, you're giving me media fodder. You realize that? You send me an email, I got to use it. I'm inviting you to come on the show and talk with your voice. I said, one way or another, it's going to come out.
He doesn't surprise me anymore after he made the comment about when we brought these things up about the girls' locker room at McClymonds. And he says something around the lines of, they don't take showers anyway.
What?
Yes,
What?
he did. Yes, he did.
Whoa.
Yes, he did. What? Yes, he did.
What the?
Yeah.
Can you take us from the top of that one?
So we've been working on McClymonds. The new McClymonds committee has been working on the structure and the things that are going on McClymonds campus for a long time. Coach Ben Tapscott has been running these things. And it was said to Coach Ben Tapscott, as we were given the list of items and the girls' shower room was on the list. They don't take showers in there anyway. Why would you think that? These are females. Females have PE, don't they? What makes you think that one of the McKinney-Ventu's program students didn't want to take a shower because she doesn't access showers at home? What makes you think that you have the right to speak up and say that these children won't use them, and that's the reason why they're still sitting like that? He only comes out when it's good. Right now. He only comes out when it's good things. And you can only say good things when they're doing things like Best Buy is doing something or the Warriors is doing the floor. But McClymonds needs a lot of work. We need librarians on campuses. We need to have them inside of the libraries throughout the day. Reading is a must.
And
Most campuses don't even have librarians.
And last time I checked on the dashboard, there is 287 vacancies for teachers alone within OUSD. Out of the 300 positions, 287 are teaching positions.
Wow. That's big. They should be looking at that data daily. Someone is updating it, and it seems like the board members aren't even looking at the numbers themselves. That's why I said, when I was hitting the podium, I said, thank God, Mike, that you're up there and that you still have a backbone. Don't let these people break you. You've been through too many storms to worry about these little raindrops. These people can't sit in that seat long enough. They don't understand what that work is really entitled to, because nobody has really been doing the work up on that board for years. People have closed our schools, put other things in place of it. We've outshined public schools with charter schools. We haven't educated parents on what's the difference. So parents just looks like it's dressed up so it looks better to me when they're not even excelling. The data shows it. The charter schools are failing way lower than the public schools. But the district is still continuing to give them money. We're continuing to not let them report their funding to us so we know what they're getting and what they're doing with it. It's ridiculous.
Have you heard from the mayor?
What was that?
Have you heard from the mayor?
Zenny,
who is that,
man?
Who is that? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I almost did a Donald Trump. Next question, please. What?
Zenny,
where is that lady? Don't do that, Zenny.
Look, Zenny. The mayor is busy running around Gavin Newsom right now, thinking that she's gonna get a position somewhere in the state. That's where she is. So she ain't even concerned about the school. She ain't concerned about Oakland.
I'm glad you said it, Brendan, not me.
I'm gonna say
following the dollars because her seat is about to be up. She literally told us that she's just waiting for her time to be up.
Libby, I'm calling you.
Call her.
I'm on the show.
And tell them what you told me, Libby, that you were just waiting for your time to be up, that you're tired of Oakland. Repeat that.
Now, Zenny, what disturbed me about that night, and I don't know if you want to go back to the video.
Yeah, absolutely. This you guys show. Definitely. I also wanted to make sure people could see you guys. That's why I didn't, Yeah.
So in the video, I've tried to separate, Van Cedric and Sam.
When we started right here, or
yeah,
I'll go back.
No, go forward.
Okay, go ahead.
Just a little bit.
Give us 1 minute, and y'all got 3 minutes to sit up here and praise this lady. They got to be this.
So after Mike,
maybe a little bit more, and then Brendan, right?
You can't keep going.
So you'll see Mike stepping down, and then that's when Van Cedric and Sam are on the or on the podium by themselves.
And I take what you got to say. I'm listening, and I'm listening.
You're listening, but you're not doing anything.
Right.
I'm not running. I'm right here. And I'm just saying, you got to see what's going on, and you guys got to at least give us 3 minutes.
How about you answer a question? How come you're not even working with Director Hutchinson
Why didn't you communicate with him about the motions that he was bringing? He never called me. He never called you?
Email and call.
Are you sure?
Text messages, he never texted me. Called.
Y'all got to sit down. But first, y'all got to listen to the community. Because y'all just got elected to this, but we've been going through this year after year after year. School closures, the schools with rodents, non-functioning windows, all of that.
Yeah.
All of these. So you're the community here tonight. I'm hustling for y'all. I'm hustling for Mike. These y'all to listen to what we are trying to keep on.
So Zenny, if you want to stop it right there for a second.
Yes, sir.
So what I was telling both Van Cedric and Mike, number one, I'm on the executive board of SEIU Local 10-1. And when I show up to these meetings, I show up as a parent, not as a union leader.
Right.
However, it's a slap in the face to us unions because not only did we endorse Mike, Van Cedric, and Sam, but we also went and door knocked and campaigned for these people. And, Van Cedric, for him to go against the community, the same people who were responsible for getting him in that seat, and not even listen to the community, that's a slap in the face to everybody who's worked to get him in that seat.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for us, nobody would have known who he was. He is a teacher over in San Francisco.
Right.
He is on the Oakland school board. He has to do a better job. Everybody up there has to do a better job at listening to the community. Mike Hutchinson is the only school board director that takes the time, has conversations with the community, tries to include the community in every single meeting and conversation that's being done because it is important that there's transparency. And we're not getting that transparency from the district. We got new board members on there and it's business as usual. It's like the previous board. It's like the board before that, where they don't listen to the community. They make these backdoor deals and our children are suffering at the expense of the negligence of the school board, and we are tired of it.
Yes.
So no, we're just not going there just to make noise. No, we're going there because our voices need to be heard, because our children are important. And if we don't advocate for our children, nobody else will. And they will sell the souls of OUSD to the devil. And we cannot allow that on our watch. So that's why myself and Misty and other community leaders are there at these board meetings, because we're there to speak for the voiceless.
Right.
Because there's a lot of parents who don't have the ability to show up to these meetings.
Good question.
We owe it to these kids.
Yes.
Is it possible to do a recall election?
We can always organize around that.
We can always organize. Always.
Recall is in every political field.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things is that,
we want to make sure we got somebody to sit in those seats.
Right. And recalls cost a lot of money.
Yeah. So
and takes a lot of resources.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering if the threat of a recall would, light the appropriate fire. And make them act, because I look at this.
Hopefully it does. I'm researching it and I'm looking into it to see what guidelines we have to go about that. But the thing is, on the back end, as once they're out of the seat, we have to have somebody to fill the seat, and that would be the issue. So we would have to have someone that understands the history of the district, what has been happening, and what needs to happen. There just can't just get someone out of the seat and then just leave the seat open and vacant. Then we'll get another Gary Yee sitting in and filling in.
And this is why I've been, trying to get for these new board members. And I got a lot of respect for Van Cedric. I got a lot of respect for Sam. I got nothing against those guys personally.
Right.
But you know, we also need for them to be a little more transparent and to listen to the community, because we don't want the past history showing up at this school board.
Right.
We've had enough of that. So we need for them to take time and listen to the people who has experience in Oakland schools and are well versed in all the problems, so they can sit down together with the community and try to come with some actionable solutions to those problems. That is all that we were asking. You know, I don't think that's much. Now, you know, Mike Hutchinson, you know, he's been at these meetings for a very long time. We got folks like Jim Mordecai. We got those folks like Ben Tapscott. We got a lot of the teachers, you know, who've been working at OUSD for a long time. They know the problems.
Right.
And all we're asking for the board members to do is sit down and have an honest conversation, sit down and listen to the history and try to figure out, you know, and try to figure out together with us, the community, on how to fix those problems. Because if we don't do that now, then the next year and the year after that, we are setting our children up for failure.
Yeah.
See, again, correct me if I'm wrong, because I have dutifully posted the superintendent's newsletters and everything else, and and all the videos that they do. But when the rubber meets the road of a crisis, where the end point means death, right? That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
And I want people to understand that, you know, when I cry, it's because you have people dying from this stuff.
Yeah.
And for, you know, to have the fear of, like, I'm here for my mom, she's 86, your kids, my mom's the only family I got, you know, keeping everybody safe, right? That's all that matters now.
Yeah.
And what tearfully bothers me is you have people making a ton of money who, at the moment that they're needed the most.
Ooh. Come on now. Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, well, you know, if you're going to do that, then quit.
That's what I told them.
And
keep walking. Sign off now. If you're going to walk off on our children, and one of the parents was saying that, don't walk out on our kids. Don't walk out on our children. She screamed it at the top of her lungs. You can hear her over the video saying, don't walk out. And I'm telling them, leave. Please sign off now, because if it takes, I'm very, very small. I'm a little person. If it takes just me and my voice to shut down a meeting, to get you guys out of your seat, to shut it made no sense to me. It made no sense that they just couldn't at least one person say, you know what? I hear you. Even if it was the superintendent herself, she looked at like she wanted to cry. And I thought that we were going to have a breakthrough, and she was going to say, you know what? I understand that. I asked them all, like, do you have children? You don't have any kids to not feel how this feels, to be on the other side and just get a minute to express this. Like you said, it's heartbreaking. It's like you're going to have the blood of children on your hands because you rather them be bodies in a seat in the classroom instead of being safe and still getting their education. We're not saying stop school. We're not saying make it mandatory for this. We're saying give the families options to where they feel safe and secure. Don't make it to where they don't have a choice, because everybody has a choice in this world. And it shouldn't be to where it's like you don't come to school, you don't get an education. Public education is free. And it should remain that way.
And that's what really bothered me about that night is that, you know, and I have a lot of respect for the superintendent. I have nothing against her. However, that night, when you guys discuss a raise of a superintendent who's already making thousands of dollars a year, and you got schools that don't even have functioning windows, and you got schools that don't have that has rodents, you got schools that don't even have teachers, that is a problem.
Yeah.
And the superintendent, with her power, she could have flexed that and said, you know what? Tonight's not the night to discuss a raise. I got 2 years left on this contract. Let's table this discussion for now and make sure that our children are taken care of first.
Right.
with them alluding to that conversation of a raise, the school board is just basically said F them kids.
Yeah, pretty much.
And again, that's
what set us off.
And it's just looking at the tapestry of this, and then how the city handles, like, in the case of Howard Term, I'm not making a political issue. It's just a matter of the staff not understanding tax increment financing and how to get money to people who need it the most, or steer towards schools or housing or anything else. These are things that I went to school to learn in planning school at Berkeley, and my first job was with the Oakland Redevelopment Agency in 1987. And we did this stuff, and now we have a staff that's forgotten how to do it. And I mean, I can go on and on, but it's like the city has intellectually fallen apart. Yeah. It's like we've forgotten how to run the city.
It's like the district has so many pressing needs on top of COVID, and it hasn't even been dealt with. But you want to talk about giving people raises? No, if you're going to give anybody a raise, you better give them teachers a raise. You better give them housing, because
the janitors a raise. Look, the janitors a raise. I mean, anything, extra programs, reading programs, partner with the hubs that have Boys and Girls Club and stuff, and let's do after school things to where we can get our kids to walk over here as a field trip, so that we can have distant learning, and they can be in that hub and do maybe an extracurriculum activity over here. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like you said, it's a slap in the face. It's like they're saying that they don't care about our children, they just care about their money, and it's about money.
And my union siblings are those SSOs, are those cafeteria workers, are those teachers' aides. And they've been working throughout this entire pandemic. And some of them travel from Sacramento to Oakland just to come to work. If anybody deserves a raise, it's them that's been working on them front lines this whole time. If anybody deserves those raises, it's them kids. Give the kids the necessary resources so they can be successful, and let's end this school to prison pipeline that OUSD has worked for so many years contributing to.
Yes.
There are a few success stories out of OUSD, but if all kids ain't created equal, then the system is a failure.
Yes.
So to close this hour, we need a plan.
Yeah.
Right? And as soon as possible. And this cost, you have that list.
Yes.
We can get that out as well.
Yes, I'll email that to you.
And
Jenny, and speaking of plans,
yes, sir.
The plan starts with the organizing. And there's an organizing effort right after this meeting at 6:00.
Okay.
On Zoom. And there's going to be some teachers, there's going to be some staff, there's going to be some families, there's going to be
can you share that link on here?
You want to hold up the link, or I can actually type it. Hold it up and I can highlight your screen, right?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Or you can text it. Did you text me? Oh, that's Jeff. That's another. So
I don't know if you see that.
Yeah, hold on a second. Hold it up, Brandon. I'm gonna do a little magic here.
Yeah.
And there's the magic. Yeah, our safety depends on us. I believe. Yeah. If you can straighten it out, so it's like
straighten it.
Yeah. Take your face out of it for a second.
Come over. Yeah.
There you go. Hold it up. Hold it up a little higher.
Yeah. Right there.
There you go. Okay.
Over. Yeah. Right there.
Yeah. Move it over a little bit. There you go. Perfect. Stop right there. That's it.
And then the screen went off.
Perfect. Oh, yeah.
The screen went off.
Your screen went off, Brandon. Yes. Try it again. Yeah. And our safety depends on us. And Misty's holding. Let me get Misty in here.
I can't even get mine up there.
Okay.
It's too bright.
Oh, so hold yours sideways, Misty, because that's why he did his sideways. Because yeah, because that way you can see it. And it's our. You know, I may have through the magic of the internet.
Yeah.
Might have another way to help out here.
And so it's in our chat too.
Yeah.
So you can take it out of there.
It was in that, right. So what I was going to do is pull that from our chat and make that, if I can here, make that, come on, chat, open. Oh, there's that. Okay. Just open this. Opening Messenger. Messenger's opening. There, okay, there's that. Then we scroll up. That doesn't want to scroll for reasons probably regarding RAM. Let me force it. That's K-12. Here it is. And let me go that. Okay. Now let me take this back to StreamYard. Go down to share. Let me put you guys here. Go to share. Go to stop screen. Go to share again. Press share. Press share again. Should give me a link. It's not giving me. Let's try that one more time. Share screen. There it is. Okay. And I believe I got it. Okay.
Yes.
Well, ta-da. There it is.
There we go. Yeah. So that's tonight. As a matter of fact, it's in about 55 minutes from now.
55 minutes.
We are organizing because we are determined to make these schools better for our children. So you got a lot of parents, you got a lot of teachers, community leaders, and even students are going to be on this Zoom. So we're asking if anybody has time, if they're available, to get on and let's come together with these solutions. Because we're all in this together.
Right.
And if the babies failed, then we failed them. It's not their fault.
That's right. Absolutely. It's trying to OUSD Zoom, folks. The meeting ID is there. I'm trying to enlarge that if I can. See here. I can't seem to highlight it, but what I can do is wait a minute. No, that doesn't work either. It's OUSD Zoom.
Meeting ID 404
here we go.
280 4000.
Repeat that, please. Meeting. Hold on a second. Meeting ID.
404.
Sorry. Meeting ID for Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
404
404
280
280.
4000.
4123. Put that there. They have that appear here. There you go. Right?
Yeah, so that's the meeting ID, and if they can't get on through Zoom but they want to call in, the number is area code 669.
Call in. Okay. 669.
900
900.
9128.
9128. Call in. Got it. Okay.
And then they call in, and then they type in the meeting ID number, and then they'll be able to be plugged in to the organizing that's happening.
Here, folks, and there's the meeting ID number 404 280 4000. So like an Atlanta phone number, 404.
Yes.
Wait.
I was just looking at that.
Yeah. I thought, wait a minute.
Just called a couple of those numbers.
Yeah, 404 280 4000.
748.
That's the easiest meeting ID number to remember.
Right.
Can never remember those. They're so long.
But yeah, we are definitely encouraging folks to, plug in wherever they can, get involved. Don't get active, get involved.
Yeah.
Because we need everybody.
And we're here to help so that the organization starts, and then the education piece is intertwined with that. Because we have to educate the parents on how to approach the district and what to expect and some of the things. Definitely you don't approach it the way I approach it. I approach it because I got history with the district. But we definitely want to educate the parents on how to go to file level 1 complaints, how to go about navigating through the district. Again, the district thinks that we're trying to shut them down or stop things. No, we're trying to work with you. You don't want to do this partnership. So now we have to take the lead so we can show you what it looks like. And that's what all this organization is going to be about. All the organizing that everybody's doing. Black Organizing Project is doing some things. There's a lot of people on the ground that are right now organizing. It is not going to stop. I mean, it can only get better. So we definitely want everybody to join in on all these meetings. Like, don't hold information in. Pass this information along. It doesn't do you any justice to keep it all inside. Once you start having conversations with people, people will start thinking, you know what? I should maybe step in on the campus once in a time. But you know what? While the COVID is going on, they're making it where parents can't come on site. They can come up with a process for the high schoolers where they do the pre-screening. They can have on the back of their IDs where they get it scanned because they've already did their pre-check, so that they can just go through and the SSOs can do the rest of them with the different line. There's so many different structures that the district can get ideas about how to come about to make it safer.
No question. How come they don't ask the students to come to school with their masks on? Because I saw a picture on Instagram, 4 young brothers, and they had no masks. And I presume,
yeah, and then you have to think about it, like, they may not have access to it. Even though they're starting to sell them in stores, I get mine by the books at Costco because I don't want to keep using the same one. But then we're telling them, and that's just like a doctor. We don't expect a doctor to use the same mask when they're working with people. We're telling people to wear the same mask all day in school and class. And, you know, I'm just trying to make this all make sense.
In addition, a mask like this is an N95.
Yeah.
N95 mask is really only good up for 8 hours of use.
See?
Surgical mask is only good up for 2.
Yeah.
You go into these corner stores in the neighborhoods and you got them selling $1 for a surgical mask.
Yeah. Yeah.
But really only 8 cents a piece.
Yes, because they're taking them out of the packs.
Well, how come OUSD can't send these packets directly to his parents at the homes and say, hey, look, this is a kit we're providing for you to make sure your kids have masks on the way to school?
They should have pickup sites. It should be PPE pickup sites everywhere around the city. They had them where they were giving injections. They should be giving off the equipment, hand sanitizer, gloves, masks. All of these things should be offered at this time. Being that this country has never been around or exposed to this type of pandemic, we should have been more prepared. We already knew that when the hospitals were reusing masks and all this stuff, and we were fighting for the hospital workers that were on the front lines to be safe. It's just ridiculous on how this country is navigating and taking this virus not serious.
Yeah, and not only that, because we don't know where it came from. And I around here, David Perdue was running against John Ossoff, who beat him for Senate. Mm-hmm. And one of the reasons that Ossoff won was there was a commercial where Perdue was getting out of a classified coronavirus hearing. Get this, okay? And then I'm leaving this up, but he says he's checking the stock numbers. I'm yelling at the screen. I said, wait a minute. Why was the meeting classified? What do they know that we don't know? Right? We could be under attack and not know it.
Right.
And then suddenly it's like, well, it came from a bat and it's all this highfalutin, I call it pseudo-intellectual thing. And I was saying to my buddy Steve Lowe, I said, will you guys stop this Bay Area stuff where it has to be what was a bat? And it came from a microbe. It's like, look, this is ridiculous. Yeah,
we gotta read.
Yeah, the Chinese government will not even let us investigate it. What does that tell you?
Yeah,
there's so much there's so much misinformation that's out there, and the misinformation is what's sending us to the ICU and killing us.
Yeah, definitely. If people do the research, COVID was around when SARS came around. It was one of the strands of SARS, and they've been playing with it for so long. Now, no one can figure out the right vaccine for it, and now we have too many strands of it. It's gotten out of control. If we wouldn't have had number 45 in office and we had someone with a straight head to really understand and listen to these CDC people and stop firing them when they started telling him that that's not what it is, and he was getting upset. So this is the thing. If people stop and read, understand, do the research for yourself. Your information, your research is the best. I don't take what people say and I run with it. I read it. And if somebody tells me something, I'm gonna research that. And if it's something in it that I don't understand, I'll research that. Because they tend to put things in writing and words because they want to hide it in the books. But that's where I get everything from.
And talk to medical providers, talk to the medical professionals, talk to the people that actually studied this stuff. Because you got a lot of people that got degrees from Facebook University. And they're spreading a lot of misinformation.
I'll borrow that one.
No, seriously. That's like we got those teachers, Teach for America, and they take the little course, 6 weeks, 6 months, or whatever it is. Yeah, we don't want those ones.
So let's end with this. Mama Hopper says, bless y'all trying to do what's righteous for the children. I wish you, them, and educators all the best. This is truly an unprecedented time. Mama Hopper, I could not have said it better.
And bless your heart, Mama Hopper. Bless your heart.
Brandon's been on. Don't be a stranger. I'm having y'all back. Check in.
Definitely.
Thank you, Sandy.
Oh, hey, thank you all. You know,
thank you.
I can't cry enough. This has got to stop. You know, we gotta right this ship before it literally kills us all.
Right.
Hey man, we all in this together, and we take care of us because ain't nobody else gonna do it.
Yes, that's definitely what has to happen.
Stick around to the backstage, folks. Everybody, thank you so very much. Subscribe to Zenny62, bookmark oaklandnewsnow.com. Wear your mask, get vaccinated, love each other, take care of each other. Oakland folks, it's not personal. It's only business.
Yes.
Ms. Mayor, you should know.
Definitely.
All right. Going to the backstage. That ends this broadcast. Stick around.